Dominic Carter, Red Apple Podcast 77 WABC, another example of cancel culture going too far, of cancel culture going over the cliff. Woke Democrats, including AOC, want to strip the name of former New York City Mayor Ed Koch from the 59th Street Bridge. Do you folks have no shame? This is my podcast. Let's go. I hosted a weekly TV segment with Mayor Koch for close to 10 years. He was a good man. I've been to his apartment and out to lunch with him. In all these years, he never once discussed race with me. The effort to take Koch's name off the 59th Street Bridge is being pushed by an LGBT Democratic club in the Village, whose leader despised Koch for his belated response to the AIDS crisis. One of the former romantic partners and the namesake for the Democratic organization, the Democratic Club, died from AIDS under Koch's term as mayor. Well, fast forward to present day. The Democratic Club has sent out a questionnaire to politicians seeking its endorsement. And one of the questions asked, and I am quoting here, in view of the fact that Ed Koch has been documented to have caused the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people with AIDS and was blatantly racist, would you support a city bill to rename the former Queensboro Bridge? The outrageous questionnaire goes on. Do you authorize the use of your name for such a purpose? Signing on to the Cancel Koch effort, along with AOC, includes State Comptroller Tom DiNapoli, City Public Advocate and gubernatorial candidate Jumaane Williams, members of Congress Carolyn Maloney, Grace Ming, and Hakeem Jeffries, Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine, and Bronx Borough President Vanessa Gibson. This is ridiculous. Stop reinventing history. Ed Koch was a good man. By the way, folks, then Mayor Michael Bloomberg and the City Council had renamed the bridge connecting Manhattan and Queens the Ed Koch Queensboro Bridge in 2011, about roughly 2 years before Koch died. Koch, who greeted New Yorkers with, "How am I doing?" and referred to himself as a liberal with sanity. New York mayors, new mayors, are going to make mistakes. And boy, did New York City Mayor Eric Adams step in it. Police unions are not happy with the comment from Adams. Here's the background of the story. We have all seen New York City officers on subway platforms looking down at their cell phones. The allegation, without directly stating it, is that officers are preoccupied with their phones and not fighting crime. Well, Mayor Adams announced he would take, quote, aggressive measures to ensure transit officers refrain from being on cell phones while on duty, asking residents to send him photos of any officers who do so. The president of the New York City Detectives Union, Paul DiGiacomo, counters that cell phones are a lifeline for police officers issued by the city of New York, and explains how police officers are forced to use them for critical alerts, including for missing persons, accidents, and other information. Bottom line, DiGiacomo says the criminal justice system has failed us. Quote, we should be concentrating more on the criminals than the cops looking into their phones. Fox News reported crime has reportedly spiked nearly 43% since Adams took office. This is the comment that got the mayor in trouble. Take a listen.
We are going to start taking very aggressive actions to make sure police are patrolling our subway system and not patrolling their iPhone. New Yorkers, you see that? Send me a photo and I would be at that station.
And then, appearing on the Fox and Friends TV morning show, the head of the New York City Detectives Union, Paul DiGiacomo, responded.
That's a ridiculous statement because that phone is used as a lifeline for that police officer or for that detective. There are dozens of alerts that come over that phone on a regular basis. Missing persons, wanted people, accidents, fires. We are forced to look into that phone. It's part of our job today.
But there was more from DiGiacomo and what it's like being a police officer these days.
Well, we should be concentrating more on the criminals and the cops looking into their phones as they should be. What needs to be done is the police are doing their job. We've made over 2,000 arrests since the mayor has been in office with guns, and we've made over 10,000 arrests in the last 2 years regarding illegal firearms. What's failing is our justice system. There needs to be a mandatory minimum of time spent in jail if you're caught with an illegal firearm. That will dramatically cut down on the violence in New York City.
Yeah, without a doubt. You said that police are doing their jobs, which they are, but they're also being targeted. And FBI Director Christopher Wray was talking about this on 60 Minutes over the weekend. And he said that one of the biggest phenomenons in this country is violence against police, and that police are dying 1 every 5 days. What is it like to be a police officer right now?
Well, it's a very, very difficult job. We've seen this before in the late 80s and in the early 90s. And the only way to get control of it is, again, to have consequences. And our justice system must work. And right now it's not working.
The head of the New York City Police Detectives Union, Paul DiGiacomo, appearing on the Fox and Friends morning show. As it relates to the PBA and its president, Pat Lynch, here's what he had to say, and I am quoting, New York City police officers did not ask for NYPD-issued smartphones. We were ordered to carry and use them. We are now required to document every minute of our tour on these phones. Every form we are required to fill out and every alert we receive comes through the phone. If there's a problem with cops using the phone on duty, NYPD management should change the policies and go back to pen and paper. That's from Pat Lynch. The mayor's comment, Eric Adams, had the rank and file upset, and even Governor Kathy Hochul, who's up for election, by the way, took a pass on commenting on Adams' idea. Listen to this dodge as she faced a question from my colleague, Marsha Kramer.
I wonder if you join in that, asking people to send pictures if they see police they don't think are doing their job, and if you think that will add to the perception as well as the reality of safety on the subways.
I have confidence in the NYPD to do their jobs, as well as the MTA police officers. I'm grateful for what they do. And yes, people need a sense of security. There's multiple ways to accomplish that. But I think everyone knowing I have their back, that I'll support them. I support the law enforcement efforts, but I also support people's need to feel safe. And so everybody has their own tactics. Mine is to make sure that there's plenty of resources. We've spent a lot of money on gun interdiction and safety, as well as programs in communities to help people learn that there's other alternatives. And we've tripled the amount of money for these violence disruptor programs. So I've got different approaches toward public safety, but I'll tell you, the beneficiaries of this combined approach, the mayors and mine together, is that we're going to work to make sure all New Yorkers not just feel safer, but are safer.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul in her response. I close with this. It was nice to see House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the fact that she made an unannounced trip to Ukraine, becoming the most senior U.S. official to meet with President Zelensky there since the war broke out more than 2 months ago. A message of the United States of America stands with Ukraine. Folks, if you are interested in my book on my life growing up in New York City and overcoming numerous obstacles, you can go to my website, the book website, nomamasboy.com. You can catch me on 77 WABC weeknights, midnight to 1 a.m. And you can listen to the show online as well at WABCradio.com. Again, you can send me emails at Dominic.Carter@WABCradio.com. Go check out the Dominic Carter merchandise at the 77 WABC store, from Dominic Carter t-shirts to hats and much more. Go to WABCradiostore.com. I will see you the next time right here. Dominic Carter, Red Apple Podcasts, 77 WABC.